again, if you're just joining us, thank you so much. This is the first episode of the Mumz Academy. Join with me today. My name is Helly. I have a small blog in Dubai called My Little Loves, and I'm joined today with Meher, who is the author of Come Alive, and we would love to hear more about this book this morning. Meher is a mother of two gorgeous girls, twins, and a working mum, a mum that pretty much has it all together, and we want to find out how we can each have it all together ourselves. So thank you for coming on board, Meher, to speak with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I suppose my first question for you this morning, Meher, is just to give us a bit of an insight into what is in this book. I know that you talk a lot about 5 steps into self-care and self-love as parents. Would you give a few of those points to the audience this morning?
Absolutely. I believe if we know better, we do better. And as mums, we definitely need that. We need to keep acquiring knowledge, understanding ourselves, being connected to ourselves, so we can add that value to the lives of our children.
100%.
And this book is actually my mission and my learnings throughout my years to explain the importance of self-love, what it actually means. Because most often, as mums and as daughters and as daughter-in-laws, as wives, we forget that we are important too.
Of course.
We forget that we have desires, we have wants, we have passions that we would want to live by. But I would want us to be proud that we sometimes think selflessly and we just want everybody else to be happy so we can be happy. However, when we take care of ourselves, when we take care of our internal self, our internal dialogue, our internal connection, we shift to another being. Our energy changes, and that's actually the energy we need to raise emotionally intelligent children.
Wow. Yeah, I can sense that, it's one of those things, isn't it? That they say you can't pour from an empty cup. And,
Absolutely.
That is something that we as mums, as you say, we strive to do everything for our children. We strive to do everything in our household, in our workplaces, and all these extra things that children have, and we want to keep up and we want to give them the best. But equally, trying to find that little bit of time for ourselves can be so hard to do. How do you do that? How do you find a moment of time in a day to have that bit of self-care for yourself?
So I struggled with the same.
Yeah.
I would wake up at 6, I would get ready, drop them to school all these years, and I would go straight to work because I wanted to get back by 4:30, be with them, put them to bed and, dine with them. But what I realized is that the only peaceful time I will get is before they wake up. So I started getting up at 5 a.m. And when I got that hour in the day, 5 to 6, I felt peace.
Wow.
I felt connected to myself. I could do my journaling, my meditation, I could connect to myself, I could reflect upon who I am. Because the whole process of falling in love with ourselves is to first understand who we are.
Yes.
We cannot be in love with someone we don't know.
Yeah.
So it's extremely critical to first understand and know yourself. So that's the first step. And you can only know yourself if you spend time with yourself. It's exactly like the courtship with another.
Yes.
Like when we want to be with our husband, we want to spend time with them. We want to be with them. We want to know who they are. We want to know what they like, what they don't like, what are their feelings.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Isn't it amazing that a lot of us don't, like I can put my hand up and say, mum of 3, I know everything that my family likes, even down to, little things like what they need to eat at certain times of the day and, what kinds of things my husband would like. And, but for myself, I do have to stop a minute and go, what do I feel like? Or, what am I going to put on the table for myself? How am I going to nourish my body? Or, I do feel amazed at women like yourself that do get up at that time, even when you're sleep deprived with kids. And I'm sure there's lots of mums tuning in or will tune in later that, sleep deprivation, these people that have kids one after the other, up at night breastfeeding, or feeding their babies as it will, and trying to even though you're exhausted, just get out of the bed maybe a half an hour early,
Even
as you
15
say.
minutes.
Yeah, just to have that time one-on-one with yourself. But I see, if you're out and about, and people can often say, gosh, it's strange, that lady there having a cup of coffee by herself or a dinner by herself. And there's not many women that I feel comfortable enough to do that. And I don't think I would be that person as of yet. I haven't read your book as yet. This is next on my list. To be able to sit and to enjoy time just with myself. I'm not sure would I be excited about that, even though I'd love to have a break away from kids and family life minus the guilt. What are kind of first steps that you would like parents to see that they could do? Just, I know, as you said, getting up earlier to have that hour, but to just say to yourself, I'm not guilty about this. Take away the guilt. How do you propose people kind of start off?
Any time of the day where you have 15 minutes of peace in the house, when there's a little bit less noise,
Yes.
just go and connect with yourself.
Okay.
Because that's when we actually see magic.
Okay.
And when you become so powerful as a human, the contribution that you can make to your children's life is fantastic. It's like you said, guilt, anxiety, all this happens because we're not connected and grounded to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we do that, so when I didn't meditate and didn't have this routine, obviously I would come down at 7, I would be with them, and then they would tell me that what they want to eat, what they don't want to eat, they would be throwing tantrums, and my frame of mind was of so much struggle, and I'm like, oh God, what do I do? We are getting late for school, and it's that. But now it is so much peace. I'm like, okay, so I would give them a choice now. I would be like, okay, that's okay to feel like that, and you're more in a more elevated state of mind to deal with them with love.
Yes.
And that's what they need.
Yeah.
All that kids need is love.
Yes, of course.
And we forget, and due to our own inexperience and due to our own fears, we're like, oh my God, you're getting late. Oh my God, you need to eat now. Things like that will not happen anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Because you're so calm within you.
Yeah. And it is easy as mothers to stress. Like, I do find I can hold my hand up and say, I would stress out in that sense. I'd be like, oh my gosh, looking at the time going, we're late. We have a place to be. You need to eat, because if you don't eat, you won't last the day, and you won't have the energy to, survive and learn in your schoolings and this, that, and the other. So, it is interesting that you put it that way. It's one of those things, I suppose, as parents, it's hard to sit down and say, okay, well, they've eaten half their breakfast. Do they need to eat the full one, or am I just going to continue standing here getting cross at them,
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the zone I'm in at the moment. As much as we all love our children, I don't feel that sense of power that you have over the calmness, the stillness at the moment. I am still in that, come on, we're late, get moving, I need to be somewhere, But yeah, and as yourself, with a mum of twins, and all these extra things that they would be doing, do you find a sense of calmness in that whole walk across your life? So, from work, does it continue on from that hour that you give yourself in the morning, from work to collecting them from school, to the ECAs, to the homework struggles, to the bedtime, bath time routine? It does kick you off for the whole day?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just makes me a better person. It makes me a better version of myself. I can perform better at work.
Yeah.
I am a better mother. I would say I am a mindful and present mother. Yeah. So I enjoy the journey with them.
Yes,
even if I have to pick them, I have to leave work, I have to pick them. I want to pick them, and I want to do things with them. So we go for classes, we do things together. I pick them from those classes, and I'm just so better. I'm just so in the moment.
Of course.
And that's what the whole point of life is, to be present, to live in the now with the people you love.
And it is very hard for a lot of parents to do that. We struggle to live in the now, I suppose. It's looking at what's next. That, every next step, that's what we're looking for, rather than just sitting and watching the first step happen, I suppose, I'm quite envious that I haven't mastered that at all yet. So, my other question that I really wanted to ask you, as soon as I started reading a small part of this, was that as a mom of girls, how do you instill this into them from an early age? How do you kind of, let them know about self-love and self-care and little steps? I suppose the steps for adults is probably different for children, but what do you feel you push into them that I could push into my own daughters and take away from this.
So absolutely, and it's very important. Values is one of the biggest things. I have started working on a set of values with my kids a few years ago. I would say 3 years ago.
Okay.
When we sat down and we said, okay, what are the values that we honor the most? It was obviously an exercise to be done with kids, but we nailed down who we are, what we want, what we like, and then we nailed down to 5 values we hold.
Okay.
And we keep them, and we remind each other of those 5 values. The question I ask them in the morning when I drive them to school is that, what is the value you will honor today? What is the value you honored yesterday?
Okay.
And that's a fantastic conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
So I started that last year, but I would talk about the values in general every year from the time I started. And now they're 9. I push them a little bit more. I have started requesting them for a ritual.
Okay.
And they have started with step 1, which is journaling gratitude.
Okay.
Because that's one of the phases, one of the phases in my book. It's journaling and a lot of gratitude and forgiveness.
Okay.
So I request them to do gratitude journaling every day and also forgiveness if they can.
Of course, yeah.
So that helps.
That is a big thing. And I suppose with the journaling, that's what helped you get into this in the first place. Like writing down anything that you were feeling that day and what you were thankful for. Are you finding as children, is it, are they, first off, I suppose, are they allowing you to have a read through what they're writing? No, I was going to say it's a private thing just for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they that's what they told me. They're like, Mom, we're doing it.
Yes.
And we will do it.
Yeah.
But is it okay if you don't read it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something personal.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Feel it.
Yeah.
And it's okay. But just tell me you've done it so I know.
Yes.
This is an accountability partner.
Of course,
Because when you have an accountability partner, you always perform better.
Okay. Yes.
So I'm just their accountability partner. And it works.
Yeah, of course. I absolutely love that. I love giving children tasks because I feel like they perform better. They're excited about it. It's something that, daily routine it comes into. I must try that at home now myself, the journaling. I think that's a great idea. And talking about forgiveness and things like that, it's something that's quite hard for children to do. So even as adults, it's hard for us to do. So I wish somebody instilled that in an early age. Of course, we were told we forgive and we say, yes, I forgive you and all the rest of it. But to actually stop and write it down and be like, okay, that's done now. We've moved on from that section.
And that's what I feel. In school, we were so strongly taught to do maths, English, Arabic, whatever, computing.
Yes.
But what helps me today in life is forgiveness, gratitude.
Yes.
What helps me is reflections. What helps me is to consider how I am on my values.
Of course.
That's what helps me. And we are not, in our time, we were not taught about all this.
No, not
I'm happy there is more awareness in schools these days.
Yes.
But however, as parents, it is our responsibility to teach them and also to instill a more holistic view of life.
Of course. Yeah.
Because if you are not emotionally strong, you will probably not be able to meet any kind of failure.
Yes.
Because failure is not failure. It is lessons we learn.
Yes.
So it's the shift in perspective, which is only what parents can give them.
Yes, of course. No, I love that. And how, I suppose, do you feel less guilty about accepting help? Because I find that I can be out of control a lot and I don't take people's help. And I probably, if somebody is trying to help me, push them away, So how do you find, are you able to ask for help? Do you feel that you can do those things?
So I think that will happen when you start prioritizing yourself.
Okay.
When we understand that we are important too, you will be able to take help.
Yes.
Like initially, all my years, I would never take my husband's help. Though he was always ready to help. I'm like, oh no, how can I? This is my responsibility.
Yes.
But this is my belief system.
Yes,
it's
of
not
course.
Anybody else's.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law has helped me throughout my 9 years because I was always working. And I wanted to work. That gave me joy. That made me who I'm meant to be.
Yes,
And I thank her for it. And I thank my husband for it. But it's okay.
Yeah, of course.
It is again a perspective and a belief in you.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something we need to reverse.
Yeah.
And that's again something I talk about in my book. There are beliefs that hold us back, which are called self-limiting beliefs.
Okay.
We are the ones who hold ourselves back from our greatness. We must not let anybody and ourselves come in the way of our greatness.
And I think that that is a really big lesson to learn in life, just in general. So if we could push that into our children from the get-go, hopefully they will, take that on board and not come across anything, Yeah, one question I have for Meher as well is, should we treat kids as adults?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do that.
And I suppose what age would you start that process?
So I have involved them in everything I've gone through in life.
Mm-hmm.
I have treated them as adults from the very beginning.
Okay.
If I have an issue at work, I will come and tell them that I'm sorry, I'm not in the mood today, or I'm struggling with something internal. Please don't mind, it's not on you.
Yeah.
I have an issue at work and I'm trying to deal with it. I have a presentation due, I have an investor meeting due tomorrow. So, they know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not with them,
Of course.
but I might be distracted. I'm human.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that why am I distracted.
Yes.
I want them to know why am I on my phone.
Yeah.
If there's a presentation or a pitch going on, and there are people working in the office to get an approval from me. So I want them to know that I am available, I am here for you, I love you.
Yeah.
At the same time, I have something going on due at 9 a.m. and I need to be on my phone for
Yeah.
that. I am not chatting with anybody, I am just doing my work.
I must admit, I absolutely love that. And one thing that I must say that I love that Meher does is the writing a love letter to yourself, or getting your children to write love letters to themselves, which is something that I'm definitely going to do. This is going to be it's spring break now as of tomorrow for 2 weeks, and we are definitely going to be sitting down and writing love letters to ourselves. And I did say this to you off the camera earlier that this is something that I would have always felt like, oh my gosh, cringe, no, I can't do this to myself. I don't want to write nice things about me, because why should I feel those ways about me? But as you say, it's so important, and it's so important for children to realize the points that are so good about them. What have you found over the years, I suppose, in your own children? What kind of words do they come up with when they're talking about loving themselves? Is there a difference between what they see and what you see as an adult?
So I am going to be recording what one of my daughters say, and I'll be posting it, or I can get it in next time. But it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So one of my daughters actually explained to my other daughter what self-love is.
Okay.
It is acknowledging ourselves.
Yeah.
What she said is that it is knowing yourself, it is loving yourself, it is talking with yourself with love.
Okay. Yes.
And when she said that, I was like, wow, they are absorbing everything.
Yeah.
So definitely, love letter to ourselves is super powerful.
Yeah.
Because we have to acknowledge, appreciate, be proud of ourselves for who we are.
And we all should be. Like, we should all be proud
yes.
and in love with whoever we are, whatever we're doing at the time.
Absolutely.
I've loved obviously everything today. We are being cut now, but we're so thankful that we were allowed to come on and share a little bit. This is Meher's book. It's Come Alive, Don't Just Exist. Highly recommend getting this. As I said, I've only started reading it and I'm already loving it. So it's time to finish the book for me and start writing our love letters for the weekend. So thank you so much, Meher, for joining us. If you've one last snippet to give us, what would it be?
So life is about magic. Life is about experiencing magic. We are here to experience the glory of life. And we must celebrate ourselves for who we are. So please do start falling in love with yourself.
Thank you so much.